Connecting. Hey everyone, we're live. This is her
Hey
mind.
guys.
So I guess we can get started. So I guess we can start with our highs and lows today. I guess I'll start. Today, my high is it's our daughter Bella's birthday.
Yay, Bella.
And my low.
She's today, what, 7?
Yeah, she turned 7. Yep. Oh, yeah. So I did my whole spiel on my story, so you guys can go check it out. All like the videos I can find in my phone. Like I have so many videos and photos and stuff. So I did all the videos this time. And then my low, I don't know. I don't think I had a low today.
That's good.
Yeah, I don't think I had a low today.
My lows might help. Maybe I got a few lows for you because I had a few today.
All right, well, let's get low.
Okay, so my low. Okay, where do I start? I didn't want to get out of bed this morning. I was so tired from my allergies. I burnt my lip on the side right here with pizza today.
Oh,
so I got that. Like I think it might be like close to a blister right now. So I had that.
I don't know.
Was it good pizza?
And I'm on beeper duty for work. Oh my gosh, another low. So I have like my phone right here, guys, in case I get a phone call from work.
Liza said something about that pizza, how much you love pizza. I think you was eating it too fast. You got burnt.
I did. I sure enough did. It was so bad.
Exagerada.
Yeah, so like I was just hungry. But you know what? It was a good day. Overall, good day. I can't complain.
Oh, that's good. It sounds fun.
Yeah, definitely eventful today.
That wasn't
Justice,
that low, Vanessa.
It's
surprisingly, yes. I didn't have any lows. I did pretty good, but my high for today was that I went to church. It was a good service. Yeah, that was pretty. I just went to church. It was good because we've been sick. We were sick for like a week, so we couldn't really do much. And with the boys, it was crazy. But yeah, so finally going back, it was good.
Justice, you sound like far.
Yeah, far. That's what I thought too.
Oh, that's weird. Maybe it's my hold up. You guys,
I don't know. It's like every week somebody sounds muffled, right? It's always one person every week.
It's so weird.
I hear you all perfectly fine.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's us then.
I don't know.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Okay, Jax, what's your high and lows today?
Yeah. I'm there with you. I was at work with you, so you know what my lows are. I'm not going to repeat nothing to nobody because this isn't supposed to be negative, but I'm right with Vanessa. My high for the day, I would say, obviously coming home to my husband and my dog, and I got my godson's birthday is this Sunday, and I ordered some decor for his dessert table, so I got more packages in. So that was pretty much the high. I think anytime I open up an Amazon package, regardless of what I ordered, because I usually forget, I'm excited. I'm like a kid opening up a birthday present. My husband's like, oh, what'd you get? I don't know. Let's find out. Something off the wish list.
She got Amazon surprise boxes.
Yeah.
I order so much, I forget what I order. Yes. All right. So that's Jax. That's actually our guest today. And we're so thankful that she's joining us. And she's actually Vanessa's friend. So I was so happy when Vanessa said that she was inviting her. So I'm going to let Vanessa take over and, start it off for us. Go ahead, Vanessa.
Sure. So first I want Jax to give us a little bit of her background. She sent us a bio, but maybe she can share that with our audience so they'll get familiar and understand our questions.
Do you want me to just read my bio?
Sure. Why not?
I sent you. Let's see. Oh, I don't know if I can do that without pausing Instagram. But basically, yeah, so my name is Jax, and as you heard, I work with Vanessa. We've been friends since like 2014. We've been best friends for years now. I work in the juvenile supervision department. I've been there for the better part of my almost 8 years in the judiciary. Prior to that, I worked with special needs. I did early intervention. I did applied behavior analysis. I worked as a BA in the school district. I also worked for a medically fragile preschool. I did parent-child interaction therapy research. My background is in psychology and applied behavioral analysis, specifically child psychology. And basically now I'm newly married, so I'm a newlywed, and I'm beginning a new chapter in my life. I'm in my 30s. Lots of changes going on and lots of new things, you know, that occur when these big life changes happen. So it's all about balancing, you know, my friendships, balancing my work life, my relationship with my husband, and then, you know, my relationship with my family and you know, my faith. So that's me.
Yay. So I'm going to just jump into my questions real quick because some of my questions you already answered. So like my first question was, what is your major in college? And you did tell us. Now, how do you feel that that major has helped you in your current career?
Okay, so my major with child psychology, human services, and sort of like that background in data and research, I learned a lot about how the human mind works, best way to de-escalate situations or improve my interactions with the public and the community that I serve. So since I specifically have a background in child psychology, child behavior, and also like behavior disorders, I've worked with a lot with like ODD, personalities, oppositionally defiant, emotionally disturbed, more specifically, children who are on the spectrum. So sometimes I can identify a lot of those behaviors, a lot of those mental disorders in the youth that I service. So regardless of whether they are on probation or on a deferred disposition. So a deferred disposition is quite different from a probation sentence, but regardless, they all come to me. So I can usually do an assessment or speak to them, speak to the parents, and identify other needs that they might benefit from, whether it be individual therapy, a mentor program, or other services that we provide, a drug and alcohol program. We do assessments with work, and we are now integrating that cognitive behavior therapy in our services. So that's definitely benefited me, as you know, the judiciary has kind of implemented that while working not only with our juveniles, but also with our adults, because we have to realize that along with some of these offenses comes mental health, emotional, mental, physical abuse and disorders. And also we have to look at the disparities in the community that we serve. I work in Cumberland County. So I know that there's a lot of disenfranchised men and women and children who've come from the jail system or have a parent or family member who've suffered from substance abuse, been in jail themselves, and are sort of leading down that track. We're all a product of our environment. And I see that a lot in our kids. And I've done lots of studies and research on that. And I kind of want to share that with you later on, sort of play a game with you guys, if you will, about that. Surprise.
Hold on. We're the ones that are supposed to be interviewing you. What?
No, but
you have a good
this is good though.
No, but I think everyone who's listening right now, you guys would definitely benefit sort of from identifying your childhood traumas and how that actually affects you way into your adulthood in ways that you would never perceive or understand. So I'll touch base on that.
I love it. I love it. You just threw
like so up my alley. It's not even funny how up my alley this is.
I know.
I'm over here like, oh, well, really?
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
So I'll definitely do like a quick, it's going to be a very quick overview, very short, but it's something if you guys are interested in, you can,
Oh yeah, we're game. Yeah. We're game. We're doing it.
Take it as you will. But it's definitely helped me with work as far as making connection with my youth and with the families that I service. So love it.
So my next question was, what do you do what did you do work-wise before you worked for the courts? And you touched base a little bit on it, but maybe you want to go into a little bit more detail.
Oh my God, so many things, guys, so many things. My niece the other day, we had a conversation and she literally said, I don't remember a time where you weren't working. And that is God honest truth. She was born when I was 9. Let's put it that way. And I don't remember a time where I've never worked. I always worked on my birthdays. I've just been a workaholic. So in the very beginning, I did work. I would say I'll just pinpoint the most influential pieces of where I worked. Started out at the Good for Life Wellness Center. And I was in my teens. I was about 16, 17 years old. And that's when I first got exposed to like massage therapy, Reiki therapy, Tai Chi, essential oils, stuff like that. Just a whole bunch of coping strategies, relaxation strategies that really helped me with my own anxiety and I don't want to say depression when I was younger, but I had a lot of anxiety when I was younger. So I think working at a Good for Life Wellness Center where I had the ability to express myself, that really helped. So that definitely influenced me a lot. And then later on, as I went on to work with adolescents, before I even went to college, I worked for the Atlantic County Special Services School District. I did the summer program. I worked in a medically fragile preschool. And, I always knew I kind of wanted to work with kids, but what did I want to do? Did I want to teach? Did I want to do therapy? So working at the medically fragile preschool, my sister actually works there now. She is a teacher and I'm so super proud of her. She went to Rowan University, graduated later in life. She's 40 now and living the dream. So ladies, you're never too old to go back to school and fulfill your dreams. So she's an inspiration for me. It always has been. She exposed me to that field, to applied behavior analysis, to working with kids on the spectrum. And that motivated me. I was like, oh, maybe I do want to study what my sister is currently doing. So that's what led me to psychology. And then I specified that I liked child psychology. And then sort of like the best part of any degree is like they make you choose a specialization because it's so broad. You can learn so many things. I'd be in school forever. So apart from child psychology, there was another subcategory, and it was applied behavior analysis. So working with kids who have behavior disorders or are on the spectrum. So then I started working for Bancroft. I did a lot of early intervention. I worked with the school district's inclusion classes, meaning that these kids are higher functioning and they wanted to keep them in district instead of sending them to these special needs schools. So I worked with the teachers on teaching them skills on how to interact with these youth, keep them in class, and then I would be like one-on-one services. So redirect them when necessary, pull them out of class for speech therapy, occupational therapy, physical therapy, and de-escalate any situations. Typically, I would also introduce the class and sort of give them an overall description of basically like, hey, we have a friend here who is going to be in your classroom, and he or she might think a little bit differently than we do. And the way I explain it is a lot of the kids on the spectrum, every child is born with the same set of tools, the same mindset. They have the same dresser in their head. Every drawer is organized: socks, pants, undershirts, underwear. Our special kids, they have all of it, but it's all jumbled up. It's all in different drawers. They're all mixed up. So it might take them a little bit longer. They might forget. They might get frustrated or upset, but let's just help them put their pieces back together. So I loved working with my kids, obviously, but that was very mentally and physically exhausting in itself. And God bless my sister, she still does it, but it was definitely not a field that I wanted to stay in. So hence my journey into the judiciary. And then I briefly worked for child support. I did UFSA, which was our interstate unit. That was murder. That was just exhausting in itself. I don't think I could, I felt like I was a glorified collection agent at one point, hassling parents to pay child support who lived in other states. It's just not a field that I really got much joy out of. So when the opportunity arose to be in the juvenile unit, do juvenile supervision, I jumped on it. And I've been there ever since, and I really thoroughly enjoy it. Like I said, I still get to use the same skill set that I've worked on, and I still get to learn even more new things as they come along. So it's been a great experience thus far.
Hey, thank you for
Aw.
that. Now, my last question would be, what advice would you give a young girl that's trying to determine what she wants to do with her life?
Oh my God, try everything. You never know. You never know until you actually work in the field. I hate to say this, but as much as I've hyped up psychology and child psychology, it is interesting. But once you start working in the field, dependent on whether or not you choose to continue to study, do data, do research, or work as applied behavior analysis or a counselor, it becomes, you almost have to make a choice. Do I want to continue to study and do this? And is this really what I'm going to do for the rest of my life? And unfortunately for me, the decision was not to. I went into the workforce immediately after school and realized that this wasn't for me. So I definitely think if you're going to put all that time and energy in studying, you should try it out first. So, ladies, gentlemen, if you're interested in anything that I had to say, do your internships, do your research, go out and, work in the fields that you're choosing to study. And if it's something you don't get sick of, and you repeat it to yourself every single day, this is what I'm going to be doing, accounting, psychology, business, whatever, and you don't get sick of it, you still love it at the end of the day, then it's for you. But try. There's so many things out there, and so many, trust me.
There's so many different career avenues. Yeah.
Yes. Please explore, get out of the county you live in, and, just travel. Seriously, you never know where life takes you, and you don't want to get stuck in that mindset where society has inscribed in you that you need to graduate high school, get a degree, get a car, get a career, get a house, build a family, and that is life. That's not life. Life can, no matter how old you are or what stage you get a house, get married, have kids, it is still a success, and it's still a wonderful story. So go and live your life while you can.
Yeah,
that's all.
Absolutely.
Love it. Love it.
Yes.
Love it. Love it.
Yes, I love it too. Wow, that was good. So I'll jump into my questions. So how did you and your husband, because you just said you're a newlywed, so how did you and your husband meet? Okay,
so like many millennials, Gen Zers, whatever you are calling us nowadays. Yeah. We met on a dating site. We actually matched. I was, long story short, or funny story short, I guess. I was in Puerto Rico. I was on vacation with a friend. She said, hey, download this app. We'll meet some cute boys. We'll, go to parties and blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, whatever. Well, I never deleted the app when I got back home from Puerto Rico. And it was like, all of a sudden, I landed at Atlantic City Airport, still had it. I was like, oh, let me just see who's around here, who I'm still matching with. And I came across my husband's profile.
Aww.
And I accidentally X'd it. And I was like, oh my God, wait, I like him. I continued.
Bring him back.
Yeah. I was like,
come back.
Hold up. Needless to say, I found him. I messaged him right away. I was like, listen, I don't typically go on these apps. I downloaded it briefly. Here's my number if you still want to, talk to me or whatever, but I'm definitely deleting this app. I'm not keeping it. And he texted me right away and we set up a date, and, the
rest is history.
The rest is history. Yeah.
Yes. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. So we'll jump into the next question. Being that you work so closely with parents and children, I'm assuming you see many sad and difficult cases, especially in today's times. Does that ever make you feel fearful when in thoughts of having your own children?
If everyone lived their life in fear, we would, as a human race, be extinct.
Yeah, exactly.
We wouldn't exist. We wouldn't exist anymore. I could be scared of multiple things because anything negative that can happen will happen. And that's just inevitable. And also, I truly believe that there are good people in the world and that there are bad people in the world. And my job as a parent or future parent, obviously, is to instill those morals, those values in my children. I can't control outside factors, unfortunately, and I can only hold on to them for so long. But, you know, the hope is that, you know, God and my family and all the things that I instill my children will protect them later on. And I have multiple nieces and nephews, and I pray for them every day. And they know if they need me, I'm only a call away. But yeah, I can't say that I'm fearful. I worry, you know, with the climate that, you know, what's happening out in the world. But this is centuries long. There's always going to be a war. There's always going to be discrimination, prejudice, and there's always going to be something. So hopefully, God willing, if we do have children, you know, we will raise them the right way and they'll be safe.
And you know, and I used to think like, oh, you know, like fearful for like my kids, but now like just knowing all that I know, I feel like we can have control of, like you said, like society tells us how to raise our kids, what to do with our kids. But if you separate yourself from that, like you said, like, and honestly, and that it takes you to do that mentally, like, I feel like you can do that with your kids too, with raising your kids. They're always going to get that outside noise, but you can control at a certain extent. Like when you want them to get that, you know what I mean? And prepare them for it. Don't just shelter them from it either. Because if you shelter them, it's just going to be like, oh, mom never prepared me for this. You know what I mean?
Helicopter like, mom.
Yeah.
And then when they get their freedom, they're out of control.
Yeah. So like, you definitely have to be open about society to them, but you have to be able to control what you allow them to, you know what I mean? Like be involved in, honestly. Like that's what I've learned. And I'm still learning, but like that was so good what you said, because I used to think like even before, like, oh, I don't want to have no more kids because like, why would I want to produce? But
bring them into this world, you know?
Yeah, but their plan is to stop us from having more kids. That's in the plan. You know what I mean? So no, we need to be here. We're not about to go, you know, we're not going nowhere. So I love that she said that. My next question was, how do you find balance between being a newlywed and like with your girlfriends?
Oh, okay. So funny story. My life has not changed. My friend Vanessa and all my other friends and my nieces and nephews, my husband knew that when he married me, he signed the whole package. So it comes with, I need a girls' day out. Me and Vanessa already have a girls' day out planned for next week. And typically, so I spend a lot of time with my husband. There's a difference between being with someone and having actual quality time, because obviously we all go home to our husbands and our children. But is it really quality time that you're spending with them? My one advice to newlyweds and to spouses in general, you never stop dating your spouse. Never stop dating that person. So you have to sometimes be silly or go the extra mile. I like to plan little things. So sometimes I'll plan like a special themed dinner or something. Like for Valentine's Day, everything was heart-shaped, but even outside of those major holidays, like doing something special for him or making a meal that he likes or picking a documentary that he likes, or just even talking about our day or going out. I always include him too. It's funny. Like our friend Kelly, who I think was on here. Yeah.
We like him coming. He's fun.
Yeah. So Kelly wanted to go out for St. Patty's Day, and
they know Kelly. Remember?
Yeah, that's what I say. They were on here. So we invited my husband out, but he's always down for the ride. He's my best friend, and I think that's important in relationships too. You should be with your best friend who's comfortable going with the flow and into your craziness. And he's definitely into all my. I thrive in chaos, and he's right there with me.
Yeah. And that's so true. Like, and people lose themselves, like when they get in a relationship, and then later on they're like regretting everything because they lose themselves. And that's so good to hear that you like, your first year, and it's not what you're saying is so great. Like, but it probably comes with your background, you know what I mean? Like,
oh, but don't get me wrong. I was stressed. I think I cried. I told Vanessa, I was like, I'm crying in the car. I have to sell my house. I have to move. I have to change everything about myself. I have to change my last name.
She was trying to hold on to that last name so hard. I'm like, let it go, girl. Let it go.
I cried.
Let it go.
Let it go. Let it go. Yeah, no, I was not. So this is a facade, guys. This is I did go through 5 million mental breakdowns, and then I got to the point where I was like, all right, I still love you. It's fine. This is normal.
Aww.
My new normal and my balance. Stressed and blessed.
Yes.
That's it.
So
that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That's good. And that's good that he understands too, and that he can go and hang out, and that's really good.
He's
definitely
a fun guy.
Yeah, that's good. And you guys got it, like, kind of did, because I feel like me and my hubby was like that too. Like, we like did everything together, like, and he was cool. Like, but I feel like when COVID came, it kind of like chilled everything out. Everybody's not hanging around. Like, you guys kind of like got married like in the like midst of it. So it's kind of like, like it was kind of like going away at that point. I mean, I don't even know if it's going away or coming back, or who knows.
We got engaged.
What strand we on?
Is that we got engaged in December. We eloped in June, and we just rocked it. We were just like, we're in it. We're not going anywhere. This isn't going anywhere. So let's go. And it's just, sometimes you got to do it that way. Also, I think the reason I knew I was like, okay, I'm not going anywhere. He's the one. He's putting up with all my nonsense during the pandemic when you're literally sick of the other person because you're on lockdown. I still loved him. We didn't get in arguments or nothing. I was like, oh crap, I'm in it.
This is it.
I'm stuck. I gotta change my name. Sell the house.
That's exactly what happened. I sold my house literally a week before we went and got married.
Oh,
mm-hmm.
That's
that
great.
I think it's your questions now, Justice.
Yeah, and then I'll do the Victorias.
Okay.
After.
So, one, it's funny that like you're talking about like psychology and with children and all this stuff, because honestly lately, since I've been learning about like gentle parenting and stuff like that, it kind of turned into that for me. And then learning about like myself now and like trauma and all this stuff that goes with the healing process. So I've been learning a lot of different things. So the fact that we're talking about this is like amazing because I'm like, I need to know all the things. During your research and parent-child interaction therapy, what were some of your findings when it came to the communication between special needs children and their parents?
Okay, so I will briefly give you an overview of what parent-child interaction therapy is, and then I will go into what my actual study was, because my data and my research were on mothers who suffered from substance abuse and their interaction with their children. So that was my study. But basically with parent-child interaction therapy, it's basically a therapist or a trainer that gives social cues and kind of instructs the parents on building up that warmth that you need to build trust and the emotional trust with their children. So typically it's used, or it has been used, for children who have behavior disorders. So it was teaching coping skills or teaching parents on how to interact with their parents and de-escalate their behaviors. And so with my field of study, dealing with women who had substance abuse issues and their first interactions with their children, they weren't able to build that bond in the beginning with their children. And, so now we have to teach them warmth. And that's something almost that comes naturally to some mothers, especially in the beginning when they tell you like the skin to skin contact is so important in those first few weeks. You know, that child has been growing inside of you the entire time. But sometimes with mothers or with women who suffer from postpartum depression, the connection isn't there. The feeling of initial connection to that child isn't there. So we're building that, and we're building warmth, and we're building trust. So first I was studying them, collecting data on what their interaction was like. You know, did they interact? Did they play together? Was there appropriate modeling, appropriate play? What was the conversation that they tried to have with their children? And then the therapist or instructor would come in and sort of model what an appropriate behavior response would be, and be like, oh, why don't you try this, saying it this way, and modeling playtime, basically. And they would do that over a series of weeks, basically. That was my field of study. It was very sad. When we presented it, I went to Rowan University and we presented it, you know, our data and our findings. And I think parent-child interaction therapy on all fronts is super important, because we don't realize how many times parents, I don't want to say lack, but they're, you know, they need that assistance in building a relationship with their children. It's not inherent, it's not natural to some people. So
yeah, I can definitely but just real quick, like I can relate, because so like I said, from my childhood, right, like my interaction with my own mother, we didn't have that like super tight bond. Like, so with my son, I was kind of like, I know how to play with a kid, I'm very good with kids, but I kind of don't know how to attach with you, because you don't want to breastfeed and you love your dad and you like your grandma more than me. And it's like, okay, so I'm just here, like, if you need me. So I say that because when I was learning about the gentle parenting, it was something called secure attachment. Mm-hmm. So children need to have, in order for children to want to be obedient and obey, you know, I don't want to say like obey like that, but want to listen to you, want to even listen to what you even say to them from an early age. They need to know their place in the family, right? Like, so they need to have that secure attachment emotionally to you. If they're like, you know, their love language or whatever, they just need to have that secure attachment in the family, that they belong, that sense of belonging. So that's why I asked that, but thank you for that.
If it's something you want to look into, I would definitely recommend it. There is a website, it's pcit.org, and so the main website will describe the specific outcomes for a child who has behavior disorders. So typically during the first phase, you know, you want to decrease the severity or frequency of the behavior outburst, and you know, increase the feelings of security and safety and the attachment that you were talking to, increase their attention span, so on and so forth. But my data specifically, like I said, it was more so not the child's behavior, but more so the mother suffering from substance abuse, like their interactions. So but it definitely, if you guys want to look into that, that's very important. And I think it's beneficial.
So my second question was, what made you want to take the job as a juvenile supervisor officer? I know you touched on it before. I think you answered that question, but I wanted to ask you that because it kind of followed. Well, just answer the question, and then I'll ask you the next one. It kind of goes with it.
I got you. I needed to get the hell out of Dodge. No, I'm kidding. Child support was not for me. I knew I always wanted to make my way back into either working with juveniles or just doing a different level of supervision. I'm very interested in drug court as well. It's just that more one-on-one, almost social work. That's what we're gearing towards. Yeah. I don't really like when youth sort of view me as law enforcement, because we're far from that. We're more like, you know, social workers, I would say, because we make referrals. For different things that they may need. And I don't know. It's definitely more up my alley. I will say that, but it can be very draining and exhausting. I do bring a lot of that stuff home.
So my last question is, so what was the most mentally exhausting part of it for you?
I will say recently it's been affecting me more, and I don't know if it's because of the pandemic returning, it could be a multifaceted. It could be now that I'm returning to work, I'm more in person. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but especially in Cumberland County, there's definitely an increase with our youth getting in trouble. There's more in-house adjustments. There's more substance abuse. Our kids are getting a hold of handguns, weapons, firearms, and it's just been wild. I lost a lot of kids during the pandemic, so I think that's affected me the most as well to violence. So I think I will be honest with you, I lost 3 during the pandemic. And I think that's affected me the most. And I talked to my husband about it, and I was like, I don't think I could do this. I don't know how other POs who have been in my position for 20 plus years and who have probably lost more children, more youth during that time have still remained in their position, because I just don't think I could really do that. I don't foresee myself staying here much longer than I already am. Just because I think that part is almost emotionally exhausting. It honestly could lead to like PTSD, depression, anxiety, increased all of that. I can't really detach myself. I don't understand how other people can. I've never been that type of person who can do my job and detach myself emotionally or mentally or physically from working with any of my youth, because if I have them for a long period of time, you build that attachment, you build that trust. And then it's difficult. So that's definitely been the most exhausting, especially during the pandemic, not being able to see them and actually physically, be in the same room or talk to them, and then get the news that they're no longer here.
It just shows like your heart for like what you do and like all the the schooling and the research and all you've been doing. Like I would be able to not have like that emotional
attachment.
Like they're children. Like I feel like when you work with children, it's very hard to not on some level get emotionally attached, because like they're cute little things. Like,
some of them.
I was gonna say,
some of them,
girl.
They're cute, but you bond with them. But you know what I mean. So, yeah, thank you.
I will say this: anyone who's in my field, even if you're like drug court, adult, juvenile, or you work in like I would say like DCP&P or any sort of juvenile justice commission, I would recommend, in order for your own mental sanity, if you suffer from what I do, is I will make a folder for myself of all my successes, and I will take it out and I will look at it. So I've received emails, notes, letters, or even like screenshots of like text messages that I've gotten from my kids that, I got my license, or I graduated high school, and, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, like stuff like that. And I take all of that and I'm like, okay, yes, I've had 100 cases, but these 5 or 6 right here, these are my success stories. And I just have to think of it that way, that if I just help one kid, then I'm doing my job.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love it.
Yes, that's good.
So what was Victoria's questions?
Okay, we got Victoria's questions. Okay, so Victoria remembers in your bio that you mentioned crafts. So she said, what is your specialty and what do you like to do the most in crafts?
What is my specialty right now? Because it changes. Right now, I will actually show you. I have a slight addiction right now. I learned how to make a blanket, and now that's all I've been doing. So,
now she's out of control.
Yeah,
so
I'm out of control. It's definitely like my adult ADHD and everything. It's like you fixate on certain things. So right now I'm fixating on blankets, and I've made a bunch. And I have so much more. So I'm knitting blankets. Oh, I got you. You send me the colors, girl. I got you.
She'll make you one, so I love it.
I do like to paint. So I've painted signs like, welcome signs. and done little arts and crafts here and there, like making like memoriam. My cousin Gundali passed away, and April 12th will actually be 2 years. So I have like a little garden of sunflowers that I plant annually, and I have like a little stone that I made with her name on it, like a mosaic basically. So I do little arts and crafts like that. I'm trying to think what else.
You're so
have I done?
modest. I love it. Okay. So modest. So modest. This girl, I wish I could just bring out the pictures, but whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You just do little crafts. Fine.
It's just
Okay,
the little
that's fine.
stuff.
That's fine. Okay, we're going to the next question.
Okay.
Okay. So you mentioned in your bio party planning. Have you ever thought about starting your own business?
Vanessa over here, sassy pants. Yes, you've told me multiple times, but I have a thing
Once a week outside?
yeah, basically. But if you continue, if what you love you do as work, and then you fall out of love with it, what else will I have left to distress from work? I will have nothing.
But if you don't try, you'll never know.
You won't fall out of love though, because look at you a different craft. Look, I can relate because I love to be crafty, and it's always going to be something new you can make. You know what I mean? And you can make the people love it too, so you could just be stuck on that for now, and then get on to like something else.
The fixation thing, so you would never like fall out of love with like crafting or creating or planning. So
she has to hear Gary. She has to hear Gary, the guy he said, you know, you should do what you love rather than what you think you should do.
Exactly. Because it won't feel like work.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll be a party every single day in your life.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll go from working 9 to 5 to 24/7. What are you trying to do to me?
But listen, that's what it is. But you'll love it. Look, you'll be making all the blankets you want, and then everybody be loving them because you'll be like, "Oh my God, look at this! I made this today," and then they'll buy it because you're excited about it, and that's what.
And
then
she'll be rich. And then she'll be rich.
Yeah, this is why people are successful when they run business, and people that aren't successful because people that try to do it they're doing it because they see everybody else doing it and then they fail. But if you do it because you love it, you succeed in it because you're going to be excited about it when you're talking about it. So that's why you should do it, because that excitement is what's going to bring the customers. That's what people are lacking in this world. Everybody trying to do it because they see everybody on TikTok. Listen,
you actually motivated.
Listen,
I'm about to go write my blog now. I don't even care.
Because I'm telling you, too many people doing stuff because they see everybody doing it. But if you got the talent, do it and be proud. Because that is what's going to get it sold. Because if you go on here and be like, "Oh, okay, I got this, buy this," and then they were like, "Oh, I don't even like how she's talking about her product. Like, I don't even want it. Like, she don't even want it. She's just doing it for the money." Like, it gets just like a 9 to 5 at that point. But if you love what you're doing and you're excited about it, they're going to be excited to buy it. They're going to be like, "Oh my God, I can't wait to show everybody my unboxing." Like, go ahead, girl, do your darn thing.
like those Amazon boxes you be getting.
Yes.
It'll be just like that.
Yes. Yes.
You better start showing off your yarn. I will be because I crochet. No, I do. I actually crochet. I like to craft. Like, I moved on from crocheting to I have a Cricut now. I was gonna make keychains. I have like a whole bunch of crafts that I want to do, but that speech right there actually
see?
It makes you think. Like, I love, and plus I love like the other side of it. Like, I love helping people, right? Love like talking to people about all their stuff, all their mess, and motivating them, right? So it's like, do it. Ashley's right. I agree.
Do it.
Do all the things.
Oh Lord.
You can't hang out with this too long. You're gonna end up like having like 15 businesses by the time.
Yeah, exactly. My husband's gonna kick me out of the office.
Yeah.
He's gonna be like, "There's too much shit in here. Stop." Oh God, I'm so funny. There's so much. Oh my God, don't ban me.
She didn't say that. She said
they're not gonna
I said sugar.
If they didn't they're trying to ban Ashley, not you. You're fine.
Yeah.
You could say that word.
Actually be coming
I've
for
been
it.
good
Literally.
lately. I've been good lately, guys. I've been
Oh
trying
my
to get
goodness.
views right now.
Ashley comes for the jugular. Like you literally, you're fine. That was nothing.
My
Always
God.
going after Ashley. That's funny. Okay, the last question, and I can't wait for your little game with us. Okay, her last question was, what is your favorite dish to make?
Okay, so it's not really my favorite dish, but it brings me joy because it's my husband's favorite thing to eat, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So I make a Spanish dish. It's called pastelón. And it's basically plátano maduro. So it's
Sweet plantains.
sweet plantains fried. Sometimes you can boil them and mash them too, but it's better that they've got a little yellow, a little black, so they're sweeter. You sort of lay them after you fry them or mash them. You do a layer of that. You do a layer of ground beef, a layer of cheese, and so on and so forth, kind of like a Spanish lasagna. And I tears that up. So
Yeah.
it's
and I'm
time
mad that
consuming,
you
but
haven't
he
brought me
likes it.
any yet, but I'll let you live for now.
You'll let me live?
For now.
Oh my God.
Because you haven't brought me any, so why are you making him
I haven't
stuff?
brought you any.
No, I don't
Recently?
remember the last time you brought me pastelón.
Oh, my bad.
Oh, okay. We'll let it slide for now.
Sorry.
Aw.
Sorry. Yeah, so I will try and make this as brief as possible because it's a lot to go into, and I just think it's something interesting. So long story short, recently I've sort of been rethinking my whole career. Do I want to make a change? Do I want to expand it? Do I want to go back to school? So I've been looking at, I had taken a pilot program with the judiciary actually for Rutgers, who has introduced an undergrad in juvenile justice. I took that program and we learned something about adverse childhood experiences, childhood trauma, stress, PTSD, and how that actually affects your health and your mental well-being well into your adulthood. So it's something called ACEs, and it's a screening. Now, I'll just go through the quiz, the 10 questions, and then I'll go into briefly describing what your scores are, but you have to keep in mind that this is not accounting for your resiliency. So, our kids are very resilient. We know kids are very resilient, especially whether what they've been exposed to, or, and I don't want to say that every adult, whether it be their health, mental conditions, are due to trauma, but there is correlating factors, and I think it's interesting. So I just wanted to share that with you. Again, it's called Adverse Childhood Experiences, the ACEs, if you wanted to look it up. So if you guys want to put, I guess, your hands up, if you want to share, or if you want to keep it private to yourself, because these are going to ask you very traumatic questions. It's going to touch base on sexual abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, stuff like that. So if you want to keep it to yourself, you can. But for the other 5 people that are watching, if you're listening and you want to take part of this test and see if maybe your childhood trauma has attributed to any of your health problems later on, keep it on the down low. Let me know your score, and
Vanessa, drop that name in the comments, because I can't do it because I'm my cord.
What is it?
ACEs, ACES. And it's Adverse Childhood Experiences.
Okay,
They can literally look that up, like ACEs quizzes, and take it themselves if they would like. So I'm going to ask you a few questions. Like I said, you don't have to share it with me, but if you want to keep note of it to yourself, every question that is yes for you, you would give yourself 1 point. Okay. So first question, did a parent or another adult in the household often or very often swear at you, insult you, put you down, humiliate you, or B, act in a way that made you feel afraid that you might be physically hurt? So this is all very, very emotional. So if your answer is yes, then you would be scored. That's one on ACEs so far. Second question, did a parent or other adult in the household often or very often push, grab, slap, throw something at you, or ever hit you so hard that left marks or that you were injured? So that's another point. Third question, did an adult or a person at least 5 years or older ever touch, fondle you, or have you touch their body in a sexual way? B, attempt or actually have oral, anal, vaginal intercourse with you. So we're touching based on the sexual abuse part of it. So if you answered yes, then that would be another point. Question 4, did you often or very often feel that no one in your family loved you or thought you were very important or special, or your family didn't look out for each other, feel close to each other, or support each other? Number 5, did you often or very often feel that you didn't have enough to eat, had to wear dirty clothes, or no one protected you, or your parents were too drunk or too high to take care of you or take you to the doctor if you needed to? Again, also, if anyone in your household, parent or guardian, suffered from substance abuse, that would be a yes as well. Number 6, were your parents ever separated or divorced? Number 7, was your mother or stepmother often or very often pushed, grabbed, slapped, or had something thrown at her? So now we're touching base on whether or not a child has witnessed domestic violence within the household. Or B, sometimes, often, or very often kicked, bitten, hit, fists thrown, or something hard thrown at them. And then C, ever repeatedly hit over at least a few times or threatened, either with a gun or a knife. So any kind of witness to violence within the home. Number 8, did you live with anyone who was a problem drinker, alcoholic, or used street drugs? Number 9, was a household member depressed, mentally ill, or did a household member attempt suicide? And then number 10, did a household member ever go to prison? So these are like very 10 basic childhood stressors that would give an indication of whether or not a child would be pre-exposed to PTSD, trauma, and would suffer from like anxiety, depression, behavior disorders. They would act out, stuff like that. But as you got older, now we're talking into your adulthood, if your score was basically anywhere between a 4 or more, I would say. So anything between. So
did you want us to tell you our scores?
If you felt comfortable enough, then sure, you can. But
mine was a 2.
Okay, so you would be low risk. You would be low risk, but there's still a percentage chance that you would suffer from, like, let's say allergy, asthmas, stomach issues. I'm trying to think, anxiety and depression. That they would still, it would be a lower percentage, but you would still potentially suffer from those health issues or mental issues later on in life. So anything a 4 or more. Now we're talking. I'm trying to see if I can pull that up real quick. So yeah, 4 or more, the likelihood of like a chronic disorder. So we're talking about heart issues, pulmonary issues, any hepatitis, depression, suicide, that increases by over 300%. So if you scored 4 or more, that could be a cause for. It's not always that way. I wish I could explain myself more, but basically the percentage increases for health, mental disorders, the higher you are on the ACEs score. So we're talking, like I said, asthma, allergies, depression, anxiety, suicidal ideation, substance abuse, alcohol abuse, that all increases with your numbers. So I would say if you scored 4 or more, and that seems low, but there was only 10 questions. So 4 or more, you're already, there's already a 390% chance that you do have asthma and allergies later in life or as a child. And there is like a 240% chance that a 400% chance you would suffer from depression and anxiety as an adult. Your suicide rate, 4 or more, 1,000% higher than anyone who had scored a 0. And that is definitely something, if you guys want to look into, I would, just because it also touches base on after you've realized that about yourself, how we can rewire our brain and rewire our body and use techniques in order to counteract to those things. So I think that's very important. I'm all about, suicide awareness, mental health awareness, and childhood trauma is a very serious thing. We don't even realize how our children are affected by the simplest things. Like I scored high just because I come from a household that, I come from a very tumultuous relationship my parents have. They're divorced, they're together, they're not together anymore. There's like substance abuse, there's people in prison, and you would look at me and be like, well, you went to college, you cope so well, you have a career, you don't look like you suffer from substance abuse. Thank God I don't suffer from alcohol abuse or substance abuse or anything like that. But again, my resiliency score would be high as well. If you really want to look into this personally, because like I said, not every person who scores high is going to have substance abuse issues.
Yeah.
But I do have asthma, allergies, and anxiety. And I've learned that about myself. And now I have to learn the techniques on how I can counteract all 18 years of being messed up into the rest of my life trying to fix it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And work towards bettering myself and hopefully, not instilling those coping strategies in my children and my nieces and nephews, so that they don't have to second guess themselves, because this is more prevalent than we think. My husband, he would definitely have scored a 0. He comes from a very nuclear family. His parents have been together off and on, they were met in high school, got together after college, married, had 3 children. They've been together ever since. They've all gone to college. That was not even a question in their mind of whether or not they could go to college. It was just an expectation. I'm complete polar opposite. So my mom didn't graduate high school, so that, the expectation wasn't there for me. But I think my mom wanted it for me,
yeah,
kind of thing. So that me going to college and graduating and doing my field of study and having a career and buying a house, all those things, that was a huge success, personal success for me. And I honestly thought okay, I've made it. So why am I still sad?
Yeah.
Why am I not my true self already if I've already done all those things? And I really had to learn that about myself and rewire my brain to be like, BD, you was a boss. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
I had to build my self-confidence up. So I'm happy that I got to talk to you all, you guys. And
I'm
I
so
hope
glad
that
you came on. It was so good. And you gave out so much information, which is so good.
If you guys ever want to touch base, and like I said, for the people watching, if you want more information on parenting resources, you have other issues with your children who suffer from behavior disorders, or if you like more tips on personally, personal coping strategies and skills to use in your daily life, then feel free to hit me up, and I could definitely guide you.
My girl Jax.
Yeah. Love it. You have to get her the website and everything, so we could drop it in the comments, Vanessa.
Okay. Do you want a website for the PCIT and the ACEs test? Is that what you want?
Because I think it will, if the audience, or if they're interested, I'm pretty sure they would want.
Yeah, of course. So for the ACEs quiz, I did American spcc.org.
What is it? American
spcc.org. There's a lot of studies on it. If they're interested in learning more about the clinical side of it, or the stress risk assessment, how it's pediatrics and adults, then they can Google ACEs aware, ACES aware, and that should come up as a PDF. And then for parent-child interaction therapy, it's actually pcit.org.
And I need that American one again because it tried to autocorrect me. I don't know why. It's trying to put Americans. I'm like, no.
Yeah, so the American SPCC.org.
What are you doing?
Okay, I think it let me do it this time. That's so funny. I'm like, why? It doesn't try to correct me. Okay, so I put all 3 up there. So if you guys are interested, you can do your research by using these websites. She gave us a lot of information. Thank you so much for joining us, Jax. Like, we truly appreciate
it. Was so good.
Oh, I appreciate you guys.
Yeah,
I appreciate you guys.
And we just love your energy.
It's so great. And she always like watches us, guys. Like, she's always on watching and supporting and stuff.
Check you guys out. I love what you guys have to say. And I definitely think the whole I don't know, I think I surround myself with other women who, even though we're so different, we encourage each other and we empower each other. I don't think it's honestly a coincidence that Kelly and I and Vanessa are as close as we are, just because we support each other in all our craziness. And that's what the world needs. We need more women to encourage each other, support each other, and offer advice, because it is not easy out there, ladies, and we need each other. We don't need to put each other down. We need to bring each other up.
Exactly.
Amen.
Yes. Right on the nail. Boop.
You're right. Boop, boop.
Yeah, that was so good. So we do this every week. If you want to be a guest, reach out to one of us. And, we may have Jax back on here because she said she's thinking about, a change. So we'll definitely be catching up with you.
Ashley's gonna be messaging Jax every week. Like, did you start doing this yet? Do you need help? I can get you started.
Well, listen, it's either I go back to school and do another undergrad or a master's in juvenile justice. Who knows? I might have a different career by the end of this.
Yeah, so she might be doing something. We need to know. We gotta do follow-ups. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly.
We're doing a whole lot of nothing.
And we might need to have a little, intervention.
Girl, stop it.
I've been throwing out the crafts. what is she doing?
The other day, I ain't gonna lie, he started cleaning out his office. I got scared. I was like, oh my God, please don't open that drawer. Has all the paint and the brushes, everything I've been hiding is in it.
That is too funny.
Oh,
But yeah, guys, so you want to be on, you have any more questions for Jax, please, she is pinned, go follow her. And if you did take the test and you want to discuss it with her, she opened it up for you guys. You can reach out to her and ask those questions. So thank you for joining us, and thank you for sticking with us. I see pretty much stayed stable, so though it looks like those that was on, they pretty much watched it through. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
I always post it on oh my God. I just remember I'm going to mess my whole thread up now because I did that yesterday. I hate this Instagram stuff. I be trying to make it look pretty and it be like, oh my God, I got to remember to post my quote in between or whatever, but I'm going to keep it up there, guys. So you guys can go look at it. I'm going to mess my thing
her
up.
mind, guys, her mind.
Yeah.
See, Jax, you're important. I'm gonna keep it up there. I'll be trying to keep everybody's lives up so everyone can see it and they can have a replay because I don't know, I get lost in the
No, so you repost this on YouTube as well, so people can replay it.
I just have to catch up, guys. I really do have to hire an assistant or something so they can record and post. I'm just like, oh my God, I got so much going on right now.
You got so much going on, but
I'll definitely be posting them on YouTube. And when I do, I'll like repost it all over my story. Everybody knows when I'm posting something, you'll know. Like, you'll know.
Yes.
It's all over.
Yep. So everybody get a tag.
Exactly.
But thank you guys for joining us. See you next week. We have another guest next week. So we're pretty booked, guys. So keep on asking, keep on, reaching out to us. We would love to, schedule one with you. And thanks again, Jax. And thanks to Vanessa for bringing her on because she was lovely.
Oh, I loved being here. And thank you guys for the opportunity to share my thoughts.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, ladies.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in.